Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's NASC Preferred Supplier webinar, Introduction to Upcycled Collagen. I'm Bill Parker with NASC, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. My pleasure to introduce Kevin Yang, and he is the Chief Growth Officer with NURA USA. Luis Hernandez, Senior Technical Service Manager with NURA USA. And Brad Allen, CEO and founder of Blue Indie Innovations, LLC. Welcome. Kevin is going to start things off for us. Thank you, Kevin.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bill, and thank you, NASC, really, for this opportunity to share what we have with the group. NURA as a company and myself actually started engaging with NASC almost 2 years ago after we came back from the COVID lockdown and met up at the Global Pet. Since then, we have been so fascinated with the audience group, the connections, the community, essentially, we have at NASC, and very pleased to be able to share some things that we learned, both working with Upcycled Certificate Agency, UFA, as well as our experience in the collagen space, both with humans as well as with our beloved pet friends. Our partnership here with Blue Indie is also a very innovative one, because all Blue Indie does is really to bring innovative ingredients, formulations, and ideas to a lot of the brands and a lot of community members like you guys, so that we work together to essentially prototyping and to figure out what we can do with upcycled collagen for the pet industry. So without further ado, I'll dive into the content. Feel free to send over your questions, and we'll leave some time at the end for Q&A. But effectively, in today's conversation, what we hope to cover is to bring you what we know about Upcycled. And we won't pretend with Upcycled experts, and we know the experts at Upcycled that we can introduce you to, but we'll share what we know, our learning experience, our journey, getting multiple products certified with UFA. We'll deep dive a little bit into our Upcycled Collagen to share with you what it is really about, what's unique about it, and also hopefully break some misperceptions with regard to what Upcycled is and what does the special and only Upcycled Collagen that we have in the US market really means. And we'll go into the application ideas that Brad will share with you for pet prototyping and a lot of things that has already been created that's ready to go to market and eventually answer some of the questions you guys might have. So to start, won't dive into the details, but I think it's important to mention who NURA is, because NURA as a company has been a very young company in the food, beverage, and supplement industry in the last 5 years. It was started by Lily, who is a female founder, who runs the business really on 3 key pillars. One is innovative, keep bringing new ingredients to the US market, both for human as well as for pets. Sustainable, and that's part of the reason why we are an early adopter for Upcycle certification and many other. And then trustworthy, because we do not believe in short-term selling material, make a profit. We really are very much invested in building those long-term relationships with our customers. Our first customer 5 years later are still our customer and growing to a large company, our largest customer. But our hope in the pet space is continue to build that long-lasting relationship, bring the first unique ingredient to marketplace, grow with the brands who are really invested in following the same principles. So qualification-wise, I would say, I think it's really important to acknowledge that quality is the top priority at NURA. Therefore, we pursue a lot of different certifications, and we actually just went through another round of GMP, NSF GMP audit and got the top A+ score. But we're also very interested in making sure we have the right culture, which is a great place to work for, and also female-owned business, which is important to show us as an identity. We are one of the first ingredient companies to start working with Upcycle very early when they started the organization. It was not an easy journey, let me put it that way, to figure out what is really required to get ingredients certified for Upcycle trademark. However, in addition to the collagen that we will be focused on and talk about today, as of last week, we even received the news, our second ingredient is now also Upcycle certified, and that is an yeast protein product I'm not stealing the sender for this particular webinar. We'll hope to do another one in the future, but I'm very excited about what yeast protein can do to change some of the formulations that we see day in and day out in both human as well as pet space. With that said, before I dive into the upcycle, I think one thing I want to set the right expectation, about your understanding of NURA and can work with us on. Protein and collagen as a type of protein is one segment of our business. It is namely the largest because we focus on both plant-based protein as well as bovine collagen, marine collagen, and even vegan collagen from a protein perspective. But as a company, we actually do a lot more than just the protein. We have been working very diligently on sweeteners, essentially natural sugar replacement options. We do a lot of grains and herbals, and many of them are in blend fashion. And we do vitamins, biotics, and the full category of pre, pro, as well as postbiotics, and a wide range of amino acids, flavors, and specialty products. All right, so enough about telling you about NURA, and hopefully that leaves the first impression, and we can talk more about what we do. What we really are here to talk about is our understanding of upcycled foods. Personally, and with Lily and the rest of the company, I think we are very, I would say we are strong believers that environmental impact as well as sustainable agriculture are going to be critical elements to essentially the core of our business. And Upcycle matched very nicely with, as an ingredient company, to deliver that value as well as impact. So the definition of upcycled food is, use ingredients that otherwise would not have gone to human consumption, are produced or procured or produced using verifiable supply chain and have a positive impact on the environment. A couple of things I want to call out on this particular line. One is the fact that originally when upcycle was defined, it was more thinking about human consumption. And that carved out effectively actually animal feed. And I think for everyone who's on this particular call, we are very much aligned. The industry we're in, especially for supplements, this is more like a pet food and pet treat and pet supplement industry. It is actually different from animal feed and is much more closer in terms of distance to human consumption, because nowadays, especially during COVID and post-COVID, the increase in amount of adoptions of pets in family and how people treat them essentially as family members, that trend I think is unstoppable. And the other thing I want to really point out is verifiable supply chain. And that is the pinpoint working with Upcycled, because they actually asked for everything in that supply chain process for the product that we were lucky enough as well as privileged enough to get certified Upcycled. The documentation request, the amount of effort that goes through back and forth, the picture evidence rather than just what you write on a statement, is what will really make that impact, the positive impact that is being called out on this particular statement. Another thing I think it's important to think about upcycle industry is that it is really on an upward trend. It's on a very, very aggressive growth journey in the sense both that awareness of what upcycled is, as well as the size of the community now we're working with has changed drastically from 2019 and 2022. As I mentioned, NURA is a company that started back in 2018. So we started working with Upcycle as soon as the concept actually was introduced to the general public. But it took us almost 2 years to get the first ingredient fully certified. But I think with the larger size of the organization, capacity, know-how, and process improvement, things are getting a little bit faster. And that's part of the reason why we're seeing more and more ingredients getting certified and products, consumer products, pet products being launched with the Upcycle logo on it. Both in 2022 Expo West and 2023 Expo West, I was able to attend some of those events. And Upcycle has been a very dominant voice in those food, beverage, supplement, and pet conversations. I personally actually feel Upcycled is even a little bit more advanced with the pet space, pet food, pet treat, pet supplement space, in comparison to the human space, because I think there is still a little bit of resistance, being very transparent on the human side to say, okay, this is kind of food otherwise would go to waste. So do I really want to consume it? So people who are very cautious about environment would be able to, buy those products off the shelf. While on the pet space, people who are somewhat aware of environmental impact and knows what does upcycle stand for are already making those shifts. So there is a head start, I would say, for upcycled in the pet industry. The impact, I think, eventually will need to be evaluated, to be analyzed, and to be summarized and reported in numbers. And some early numbers from 2022 are suggesting huge, like almost 1,000 million pounds food waste prevented to become landfill and be used in ingredient companies and brands who are on the Upcycle certified program. And that amount will grow drastically in the next 10 years to over 116 billion is the estimate. And that's why a lot of the large brands, investment arms, or even like insurance companies, energy companies are jumping into supporting this particular effort to really bring the value to our environment, to our society. That being said, I think it's very important to understand for a brand, like many of you guys work with brands or developing products, what does it mean to have upcycled ingredients? What does it require to have upcycled trademark on your packaging? Really, I think a couple of things I want to call out, two numbers that you need to know, 95% and 10%. So essentially what it means, it is very hard to have an ingredient certified upcycled. You need to have more than 95% of the input making that particular ingredient proven to be upcycled for that ingredient to have the logo of upcycled trademark. But it's relatively easy, given that upcycle is still relatively new in consumers' mind, for a product actually to have the logo of upcycled. You only need 10% more in terms of weight in your finished product to be upcycled ingredient for your product to be called upcycled. So only takeaway from the last slide, and you'll have the slides available for your own reading afterwards, that you should really be aware of, is the 95 and 10. And understanding the fact that finding an ingredient that is fully upcycle certified is challenging because 95 is a very high threshold. But as a finished product, to launch something to show the belief and the commitment to environmental impact as a brand, it's actually, the bar is still relatively low. You only need more than 10% of the product by weight from upcycled ingredients. All right. So that being said, I think as many of you, part of the reason why you're on this call is you've probably observed some products in the supermarket online that has the upcycled logo on the product. And it has been a wide range of products in that particular category. No matter if it's sweet product, savory product, no matter if it's powder product or frozen food, or even tofu for that matter, and many of the things in the dog or cat treat space or functional supplement space have been launched with the upcycle logo on it. But is that a huge amount already out there? No. Has the consumer have the consumers fully adapted to understand what does it mean? No. So a lot of it is requiring the industry, the ingredient industry, the pet supplement, food and treat industry to continue to bring that awareness to our consumers and launch top quality products, not just for the sake of having an environmental impact, but bring that health benefit. And our furry friends will need to love those products for those ingredients to eventually make that larger environmental impact. And the reason why collagen is a hot topic, because we truly believe collagen has been on the rise. If you think about usually the trend between human space in terms of supplement and pet industry, a lot of times there is a lagging effect of certain things being hot in human, and 2-3 years later, it becomes very hot in pet space. For example, mushroom, case example, right? And collagen, I would say, is another example. And with COVID, with people's awareness of importance to have functional food, drink, and treats for pets, or supplements for pets, that lag has become shorter. So as many of you guys probably are consuming collagen, or your loved ones might be consuming collagen, there's so many brands out there, and there are so many innovations with bringing just powder form collagen to more functional kind of blend. And there are tremendous amount of improvement in terms of the flavor of collagen. Like we carry about 5 different grades of bovine collagen and 3 different grades of marine collagen, because different brands based on their formulation and finish application have very different asks for the flavor or sensory profile of the collagen product. So message here, I hope that you guys will take away is that the reason why we do upcycle collagen, one is for the environmental impact we truly believe in, and sustainability of an ingredient business that can be innovative and making good with our environment. The other part is we see a tremendous business opportunity with collagen being used because of the significant rise in human collagen assumption, but still relatively small amount of collagen products, especially not the traditional bone broth type of collagen products, but more functional collagen products in the marketplace in pet is still very small. So there's a huge opportunity to launch into that space in the near future. So with that said, I will actually turn it over to Luis, our technical service manager, and he has been an expert using collagen to making various products in different applications. And he'll tell you a little bit more about exactly what our upcycled collagen is about. Luis?
Thank you very much, Kevin. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for clarifying all this information about Upcycle. And now it's time for us to look for it at the grocery store as well as at the pet food store to make sure that we contribute towards helping our environment as well as supporting the cause of a better world for everybody. As you mentioned, collagen is has been a great story of success with humans. The reason being is that it helps prevent problems with aging, and it's something that we as humans are extremely obsessed about. And hopefully we can also translate that into how we take care of our pets, since they're our very, very dear companions, right? Collagen is a protein, a fibrous protein, to be more correct. It shares classification with elastin and keratin. In its native state, it's actually a material that is insoluble, and collagen is naturally present in our skin. It can also be found in our muscles, in bones, tendons, and ligaments, as well as blood vessels, and even inside our stomach as a protective layer for our stomach. It is the most abundant protein in our body. It accounts for 30% of the total protein by weight. And it also, as any other protein, constructed by amino acids. Those amino acids are particularly for collagen are proline, glycine, and hydroxyproline, sorry. And it's constructed in a three-dimensional configuration that is normally described as a triple helix structure. I'm sorry, thank you, Kevin. It also, because of such structure that is created with amino acids, it provides unique characteristics that the collagen has, which in this case are elasticity, flexibility, and strength. It also gives more than 28 different configurations to collagen, and therefore there's also that many types of collagens available in nature, and they're commonly present in humans as well and in pets. As you can see on the slide, it also it helps pets in the process of aging with having a healthy skin, a healthy coat, and also benefits them in their joints as well as the digestive health support, right? In regular and an optimal health state, collagen can be produced by your body as long as it has all the right micro and macronutrients, which are available in our system to actually synthesize the collagen. In this particular case, we required essential amino acids, vitamins, vitamin C, zinc, copper, and manganese as part of the nutrients to build that structure that we were talking about. All of which are easily available in a healthy diet. Unfortunately, if our system is under stress, the production of collagen could be minimized and therefore additional supplementation is needed. Collagen main functions in the system are related to skin formation, replacing dead skin, protecting our internal organs, giving structure and strength to the actual skin and maintaining youthful look, as well as helping the blood clot, and it also has impact in how our joints are moving and resisting stress, right? So those are very, very important tasks that also translate into our pets as well. Unfortunately, one of those key challenges or key sources of stress is aging. And as we age, as our pets age, the system starts producing less and less collagen, focusing resources in other parts of our body, and therefore it becomes even more important to have additional supplementation. We all want to maintain our mobility and our independence, and we want to provide that to the same to our pets, right? As an ingredient, the food industry utilizes collagen and serves to boost protein content of the products containing it. As I mentioned before, it's insoluble material, and it does not add viscosity. However, it can actually add some certain level of grittiness, and that's something that formulators will have to work with. However, it has a mild flavor profile, and it may impart some distinctive aroma, and Kevin was mentioning just that a little bit earlier. It depends on the type of collagen that you source, what kind of aroma is perceived out of the raw material itself. That's something that can be masked, but and requires a lot of formulation work, and I'm pretty sure that Brad will talk about it a little bit more later today. In order to solubilize this ingredient, collagen undergoes a hydrolysis process, and that hydrolysis process creates collagen peptides that become soluble, do not add viscosity whenever we introduce them into a formulation. It has a minimal viscosity at even very high concentrations. However, the flavor and the aroma are modified, and normally those are modified in a not necessarily positive way for humans perception, because those flavors become very brothy, very animal, very described as strong aromas, not objectionable for the majority of us humans. However, very appealing for our dogs or our cats, right? The typical process of hydrolysis generate those flavors, umamis, and brothy and woody, and we have to be careful with those, especially for human consumption. Our upcycled collagen is produced, as you can see on that slide, as a byproduct of the meat and leather industry. It's produced from hides that are rejected from that industry because they're no longer able to produce any goods with that. And we're basically focusing on the corium, which is a very rich layer of top layers of the skin that actually has a lot of collagen in concentration. And for such reason, it becomes a great source material or raw material for upcycled collagen. It's a rejected product that has a higher concentration of a functional ingredient, and it's the best way to utilize all the system that we have available and all the energy that is generated into processing this type of products. Kevin, thank you. Can we go to the next slide? As I mentioned previously, our certification was obtained after a third-party audit that took 6 to 9 months to actually obtain, and they were able to demonstrate and quantify how much product we were able to divert and prevent from becoming a waste. And that's something that is available as a consequence of the certification. And however, it is important to highlight that this certification does not imply that the ingredient is a subgrade ingredient, or is a downgraded ingredient, or is a rejection from quality assurance. the certification itself, it's only linked to the impact that it has in its production and towards eliminating or minimizing that food waste and the proper utilization of all of our resources. If you go to the next slide, Kevin, you can see here a very brief, actually a specification from our collagen peptides, which are the ones that I was mentioning become soluble and easily digestible for consumers. The specification is exactly the same as a specification from a non-upcycled product, just to make sure that you understand that it's exactly the same product, just utilizing something that we will not otherwise be able to consume. And with that, we can go to the next slide, Kevin, which is basically me passing the baton to Brad, so he can talk about his experience with the ingredient, as well, obviously, his long experience with in the pet industry.
Thanks, Luis. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little background about who Blue Indy is. Started the company back in 2015. Most of my career was with a very large CPG company called Pepsi, and spent nearly 20 years with them. And I've been in the pet industry a little over 20 years. My first foray into the pet industry was a little company called S&M NewTek, and we were the maker and manufacturer of a little dental dog treat called Greenies. And we grew the company very rapidly over the next 5 years, and we ended up selling the company to Mars back in 2006. And I've been involved in the pet industry ever since. But the reason why I started the company is I just saw a great opportunity within the industry to really drive innovation, and truly innovation. A lot of people's definition of innovation is quite different than what we look at. But we really like to help our clients create new markets. And that requires being able to take a lot of consumer data and understand what's going on in the market today, as well as what's going on in the pet industry as far as consumer trends go. But we also spend a tremendous amount of time understanding what's going on in the human market, because if anyone's been involved in the pet industry for the past 20 years, we all know that humanization has been driving a significant amount of the growth that is in the industry today through innovation. So our core competency is innovation, and then we have great strategic partnerships with companies like NURA, and Kevin and Louie and Lily and their team. And we kind of approach the process is a little different with us, because we actually put a prototype in front of our customers to be able to touch and feel and see. And then that really enables both parties to be able to collaborate together and create a very significant innovation that can go into the marketplace. Now we can kind of look at some of the prototypes that we put together. This looks really simple. You know, it's basically it's basically a biscuit. We've called it homemade, and we've even stamped it homemade. And we've used the Upcycled collagen, but Upcycled is really growing. It's not just growing in the pet industry, but it's significantly growing on the human side. And what's good for them is good for their pets. But you can see here that we've used various proteins and fruits and vegetables, and it has the potential to add functional ingredients that addresses a lot of the functional issues that dogs and cats may have. But this is the perfect size for any size dog. And we really like the handcrafted artisan type of concept. It really rings true with our consumer today, especially millennials and Gen Zs. So we think of marshmallows. You know, gelatin and collagen are big ingredients in developing marshmallows. So we've developed this very fluffy material, and it's actually sugar-free. It's gluten-free, sugar-free, keto, and paleo, and we've done it with, like I said, gelatin and collagen, and actually, when you're producing this product, you put a little pinhole at the top of the little cube, and you can stuff it, a pill or a capsule, down into the body of this pill mallow, and it's almost impossible for a cat or a dog to be able to get that pill out. Working for Greenies, I can tell you that, you know, we were the maker of pill pockets, and I can tell you that there's a whole group of dogs out there and cats that are able to work the pill out of that material. And this particular treat really enables the pet parent to ensure that their pets are getting the medications that they need. So this is a dental treat, and we call it Tough Puffs because it's really tough and it lasts a long time. And it's a combination of using the collagen and being able to leverage some of the technology that we have that's proprietary. We have a expansion technology that we use, and what happens is when a handful of ingredients come together during the injection molded process, those ingredients are encapsulated. So when the heat takes the encapsulation off, it forms a reaction inside the mold that causes this gas to be able to expand the product. And you can see by the side cuts how porous the material is, and it allows for a great long-lasting chew that from a mechanical action standpoint can really take off the plaque and tartar off the treat. And because of that expansion, you're reducing the amount of calories by about 67%, so it's low calorie. Collagen rolls, these are always big. They're big in the market today, and you know, it's great from the standpoint of replacing rawhide, which is not good for dogs. So we have a proprietary blend of some special ingredients that we use the Upcycled Collagen with, and then this could be extruded. It could also be used in an ejection molding process, and it really gives us the ability to market it as a no rawhide type of treat with more efficacious ingredients that are also functional. And then we can also baste the product with protein and then air dry it to hardness. And then we can also control the shape of the product. And what's beautiful about this is we can automate this process, therefore reducing the labor with a lot of the products that are in the market today that are handmade. So again, leveraging upcycled collagen and also upcycled produce, we're able to come up with a nice freeze-dried treat using some pretty exotic fruits and vegetables. Some of them are more exotic than others, but fruits and vegetables like pineapple and coconut and banana and guava and pumpkin. So This makes a nice, quick treat, and it probably has 70 to 80% of the ingredients are upcycled in it. So what better way to market your product around a sustainability story than being able to market it with upcycled ingredients, maintaining a 70 or 80% inclusion rate. Again, this is a picture of what that freeze-dried treat would look like. But again, this upcycled collagen is awesome. It works under a lot of different processes, including semi-moist, soft and chewy, crunchy, being able to leverage that sustainability. It's extremely nutritious and extremely tasty. And this particular treat here happens to be 100% upcycled. So I would like to turn it back to Bill and let him take it from there. And thank you. And we're glad you're all here today to witness this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Kevin, a question. As far, and you might have touched on this, but you mentioned primarily bovine as the source of upcycled collagen. Are there other sources that are providing up or that use that upcycled moniker?
Yeah. So can everybody hear me okay? I just unmuted.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Bill, for the question. I think right now we have only the bovine collagen that is upcycled. But because we've worked with our manufacturers and bring to their attention as well in Asia as well as in Europe, the benefit of and the upward trend of upcycled product. So we're in the process with identifying who will be able to provide us with also upcycled marine collagen. There have been a couple of different brands who are already using marine collagen, usually from cod or tilapia, that are already asking us for upcycled marine collagen. It's not available just yet. I don't think there is an upcycled marine collagen out there in the marketplace, but we are in the process of making that happen.
And then another question, going back to the finished product, and again, this will probably be a reiteration for you, but the raw material or the ingredient itself needs to be by weight 95%. What is the percentage of the finished product that needs for it to carry that upcycled?
Yeah, the 95 and 10, those are the two magic numbers. If anything, you take away, those will be very important. The 10% is the bar right now for a product to be certified upcycled, because the organization has the objective of bringing more brands, more consumers awareness of upcycled as a key reason why we're doing this, right? But I think that bar will continue to evolve. And Brad has made excellent prototypes and products with 70, 80%, 100% even collagen or other materials that is upcycled. I think the continued evolution of that requirement will happen over time, but right now it is at 10%.
Okay. Had a question come through. Are there USA sources of collagen, sources within the United States?
So the collagen, so there are two things I think I want to clarify. One is, while our country of origin on certificate would be China, but actually the skin, the cow rawhide that we source are from all over the world. The manufacturing capacity for producing the upcycled collagen right now is located in China, partially because of existing partnership, partially because of their manufacturing capacity, partially because they are the ones who jumped onto the process with us to go through this very rigorous upcycle certification process early. right now, we don't have a collagen manufacturer in US that will have upcycled collagen. The product will be coming with a certificate with country of origin being China, but the call hide is coming from all over the world, including US, Canada, South America, and Asia.
Thank you. And of course, the question being cost versus non-upcycled collagen.
Yeah. So we are not just, I mean, I know in the industry in the past, people have obviously added a margin on organic products, non-GMO products, but because upcycled is such an important environmental and sustainability cost, it's not something we are doing for the sake of raising the price and making more profit. The effort itself is really not going to increase the cost. For the most part, we're going to try to reduce the cost, especially in fat aggregation. I mentioned for bovine collagen, we have 5 different grades. For the most picky consumers or day in and day out collagen users who put collagen into their water and drink it directly, there's like A++. Those are super neutral in terms of the sensory aroma profile or taste profile. But for pet, we have pet grade, B grades. Those actually have a lot more of the umami flavor, the meat flavor that actually in pet food production or treat or supplement production can reduce the need of using additional flavors to make it attractive to pet, right? So the cost will actually reduce instead of increase is the way we see it. And we do not add any additional cost to brands who want to use upcycled collagen.
Okay, and with that appears to be the end of the questions.
Oh, there was one more.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, it just came out. I mean, I can answer that actually pretty quickly.
Very good.
Yeah, so so I've been to a collagen manufacturing facility myself. Part of it, when you look at the graph that Luis showed earlier, is that there's a decent amount of parts that you can potentially use to produce collagen from the skin. And usually the part that's closest to the flesh is the one that will be used to produce the upcycled collagen. The reason why that is the case is because it's so close to the meat and bone, the flesh part, even after like 3-4 rounds of filtration, which typically collagen would have to go through, to be produced as like a very high quality sensory profile for human consumption, the ones that are closest to the meat, even goes through all that process, will not be able to fully remove those aroma and the smell or taste. So those are the ones traditionally when used for producing collagen would be wasted, would go to kind of landfill because they don't need the spec per se. But in our process, working with the manufacturer, going through the upcycle certification process, we are specifically targeting that particular part to produce our upcycled collagen. So to allow the ability to use that waste and meet the spec for our pet friends and producing that upcycle certified collagen.
Another question coming in. How functional is the collagen that is used in chews versus supplement?
Brad, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very functional. You know, I think that some of those products that we've kind of reviewed, you know, they're approaching 70 to 80% protein. And, you know, this particular collagen, and you look at the spec sheet, I mean, you know, I think we're looking at 90% protein. So, you know, you're putting in a lot of protein, and then obviously, you know, if you want to do the analysis when you're doing your GA, you can also measure the amount of glucosamine and chondroitin that are in content with that to be able to make that claim.
Thank you, Brett. Hope that answered the question.
Okay, so with that, it looks like that we don't have any more questions pending. And so on behalf of NASC, I would like to thank you all for joining us today and your participation in today's webinar. And a big thank you to NURA for sharing their presentation with us. And with that, thank you very much. And we'll see you again in the next webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.